Primetime Sports, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, WGNSsports.com, Big G TV, streaming video, and always at the game. The game. It's where you've had breakfast with the coaches for decades. It's the Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's. We'll sit down with the coaches to talk about their most recent games and the matchups ahead. Now from WGNS and Big G TV, it's the Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner.
Good morning out there, everybody, and welcome in to this November 8th edition of the Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner. So happy that you are along with us here this morning on a foggy Saturday morning after a rainy high school football Friday night, which saw two Rutherford County teams out of all the ones in the playoffs play. There were 4 Thursday night games and 2 last night, and one team with a bye. The schools that had the smarts moved their games up to Thursday when they had the ability to do so. I know we went to Lebanon last night, and it's the latest I've ever arrived to a game in 20-something years of doing football. We let out at around 5:50 to get to Lebanon, which usually is about a 30-minute trip from our vantage point, and roll up. We maybe left a little later than that, but we did about 10 till. Roll up about 6:30 and get out and get everything set up, and it was kind of eerie. You walk into the whole stadium, or once you drive by, there was not a soul in the stands, which gave me a sense of relief because I knew that we wouldn't have to set up in, record time. They were in a delay. Wound up starting that game at 8:07 last night, and wrapped up and finally got home and tucked in around midnight last night. So that was kind of the way things went with the Riverdale-Lebanon game, and the Riverdale Warriors ran all over the Blue Devils of Lebanon, 28-7, and nice win for Coach Will Kreisky. Riverdale had won 8 in a row from 2001 to 2008, and then the teams hadn't played for a long time. And then in 2021 and 2022, Lebanon bested Riverdale in playoff action. So it had been 17 years. You put all that together since Riverdale had beaten Lebanon, but they did last night. Rekindled some old rivalries in the first round of the playoffs. Oakland on Thursday night trounced Cookeville 42-10. It's always good when we send someone from Cookeville back home with an L. The Green Hills squad downing Smyrna 42-14 on Thursday night. A close first half in that one. Blackman 3-3 at halftime with Gallatin, but they pour it on in the second half, win at 24-9. That one on Thursday. Eagleville 42, McEwen 28 on Thursday night. And last night, MTCS, they had a campus-wide event on Thursday, which was a reason why they did not move their game up. Chattanooga Grace came in, and, MTCS was up, I want to say 41-0 in the first quarter or early second quarter. They went at 62-14. MTCS had a bye, so this sets up the Rutherford County teams for round 2 of the playoffs, and we have got some interesting matchups, some road games, a rematch of 2 years ago, or is it 3? 2 years ago, 2023. Oakland Bradley Central played in the semifinals at Bradley Central. Oakland winning that one. Oakland will have a chance against the Bears on Friday night. That's where we're going to be to broadcast on Friday. Blackman will travel to Kingsport Dobbins-Bennett. Riverdale heads to Maryville to take on the Rebels. Eagleville will be at Memphis Middle College. So we have a team that is traveling to Kingsport Dobbins-Bennett. That's about as far east as you can go in Tennessee. And another team that's going to Memphis, as far west as you can go in Tennessee. Eagleville at Memphis Middle College. MTCS travels out west to Trinity Christian and its PCA hosting Friendship Christian on Friday night over at MTSU. So that's the schedule of the games that are coming up. This morning, we will have a little longer to talk with our coaches, so let me kind of give you the breakdown. We've got 6 coaches that are playing here in the second round of the playoffs, or played in the first round, rather. Riverdale will be up first here in just a couple of minutes. Saw Will Kreisky after the game last night and finally got to crack a smile at Lebanon, so that's a good thing. He'll be up here in just a few minutes. At 9:20, we'll talk Smyrna football with Matt Williams. At 9:45, it'll be Matt Kreisky joining us to talk Blackman football. Oakland around 10:10 this morning, and then we'll follow that with Eagleville around 10:25 or so this morning, and MTCS Cougar Corner at a special time today at 10:45. So we'll have those coaches on this morning talking high school football. We turn our attention to Middle Tennessee football at 12:30 airtime with a 2 o'clock kickoff. Middle Tennessee hosting FIU. Should be a great day to go out to MTSU and if nothing else, take in the salute to veterans, because that is a very cool event that they have over at Middle Tennessee. And then this evening we've got MTSU men's basketball. So a full day of live and local programming here from the Big G, WGNS. Coming up, Danny Brewer is here with us this morning. It's me and Danny today, and we are going to talk through the first 3 coaches with Danny, and then I'll pick up with Oakland, Eagleville, and MTCS. So stay with us here on the Parental Salsa Heating and Air Coach's Corner. Hey, Rutherford County sports fans, from auto, home, renters, business insurance, and more, trust your local State Farm agents. Celeste Middleton, Ron Reeves, Emerson Williams, Alex Williams, Dana Womack, and Andy Womack. This powerful team lives here, works here, and are your neighbors. They're ready to help you manage everyday risk, recover from the unexpected, and realize your dreams. Contact Celeste, Ron, Emerson, Alex, Dana, or Andy for all of your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service. We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service reminds you that it makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We've been serving Rutherford County since 1988.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
We're just off Memorial Boulevard at 142 Heritage Park Drive.
Architects, engineers, and builders, whether you need detailed technical drawings, large format plans, or quick, accurate reproductions, Franklin's Printworks delivers clarity, precision, and fast turnaround.
Since we've added that capability, there's a big demand for blueprints, so we're getting a lot of times turn those around in 24 hours.
Jeff Carlton at Franklin's Printworks.
Usually they're like 24 by 36, and they require somebody that knows what they're doing and has the capabilities to produce them.
Clarity, accuracy, and fast turnaround from Franklin's Printworks.
Winners Trophies can help you with customized awards for any occasion. Owner Kelly Hockenberry continues to provide awards for sports teams, churches, recognition awards, and more. Call Winners Trophies at 904-6002. That's 904-6002 for the best in quality, service, and pricing. You can also email Kelly, winnerstrophy@comcast.net. That's winnerstrophy@comcast.net. Any award for any occasion. Winners Trophies, 904-6002.
We're at Rick's Barbecue on Warrior Drive, talking with Anne Marie Brents.
When people walk in and they're like, tell me what's good, I usually tell them the loaded baked potato, which is a fully loaded potato with the butter, sour cream, cheese, bacon, and chives, and then we put meat on top of it.
At Rick's, they use the largest potatoes you can find.
Every Tuesday we run a special on the loaded potatoes. We call it Tater Tuesday, and we sell a lot of potatoes.
Barbecue, smoked chicken, ribs, they've got it all at Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive, and online at ricksbbq.com.
So what if your roommate decides to microwave a metal mixing bowl and set your apartment on fire? I'm State Farm Agent Ron Reeves. Auto, renters, frankly, any kind of insurance. I've got your back. Call me at 615-873-1700.
It's not just your home or car. I'm State Farm Agent Emerson Williams. We see your home and car as the time and memories that you put into it. Give me a call at 615-459-2683 and let me help you give them the protection they deserve.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450 wgnssports.com and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by State Farm agents Andy Womack, Dana Womack, Celeste Middleton, Alex Williams, Ron Reeves, and Emerson Williams. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Danny Brewer here with you this morning. You know, I'm happy to pig in slop because I got doggone Will Kreisky here, the mastermind of Riverdale football. You know, the Warrior way, he's all about it. Coach Kreisky, how are you this morning?
I'm doing all right. You know, dried off a little bit. You know, it was a long night, long day. But, you know, I'm really, really proud of this group and how they handled the situation. You know, it's not every day you go and travel 45 minutes and then, you know, sit in the locker room from 5 o'clock until 7:30 and you don't do anything. And, you know, I couldn't be more appreciative of how our kids handled that situation, you know, and handled all the extremity. I mean, sometimes those things can go bad. And I think that's why Lebanon wanted to play on Friday. They were hoping some things would go bad and that we wouldn't handle those types of situations really well. But, you know, this group has been there. You know, we had that long delay against Blackman, so they kind of knew what to expect. We prepped them for it going into the game. You know, be expecting long delays. You know, we packed a lot of extra food. You know,
so there you go.
We were prepared.
So let's set the table a little bit of what happened. We knew weather was coming in Friday. Many teams moved the game to Thursday night to avoid, you know, thunderstorms, lightning delays, all that kind of stuff. Lebanon chose not to do that. They wanted to slow Riverdale. It was a ploy. I think that they make no bones about it. It was a ploy because they wanted to try to slow the Riverdale machine down. With all that in mind and what you just mentioned about the delays and all that stuff, is this as satisfying a win for Riverdale Nation as you've had in a long time when you think about all that stuff that you were up against, but you responded 28-7, put a butt whooping on them?
You know, yeah, I'm really proud of the kids and how they responded. And you know, Lebanon's been a tough place to play. You know, we've had some bad luck there. And, you know, for those kids to just come out and dominate from the first quarter on, you know, that's impressive. Yeah, I'm proud of them. But, you know, like I told them last night, we got to turn the page and get ready for Maryville. And I'm excited about this opportunity coming up this week.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to get to that here in just a minute. I want to talk about, you know, of course, me being the horse racing guy, back a horse and get paid. We've talked about it. The Riverdale offense has been prolific through the air this year. You know, you've got a great quarterback. You got a great receiving core. You've thrown the ball extremely well. Last night, knowing the conditions, you knew you had to run the ball. You backed your horse, Jacob Vaughn, and by golly, you got paid. 27 carries, 276 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Wow. How about that, Coach?
You know, that was really special for him. You know, he's worked really hard. And you know, Coach Barnes, you know, he's a pass-happy guy, but he really stressed the offensive line that we really needed them and needed to get behind them. And he stayed on Jacob Vaughn all week about, you know, we got to rely on you this week, you know. And I thought him and Gavin ran the ball well at times. And Jacob, man, he lowered his shoulders and he played. And he ran behind his pads and he ran behind the line. He did a great job reading his blocks. The kid's just getting better and better each and every week. And I'm proud of the sophomore growth that he's had each week.
Running behind his pads. That's a Floyd Walker term there. You're learning something from him, aren't you?
Yes, I
am. So let's talk a little bit about Hampton, Gavin Hampton, the quarterback. Like I said, he's had a fantastic year, over 2,000 yards. I think now he may have 27 touchdowns passing, something like that. Yeah. But he 51 yards rushing, and he ran behind his pads, too, when he really needed to.
Yeah, he did. And sometimes I don't really like that, and I got on to him a few times about it. But, you know, he did, and he's a team player, and he wants his teammates to respect him. And you know, I told him he's already earned their respect. He don't need to be lowering his shoulder and trying to run over folks. But he did. He ran his, but he wants to win. And, you know, it's playoff time. He knows he has to lay it on the line, but he knows that his offensive line is laying on the line for him, so he's going to do the same. But, you know, I'm really, like all those guys, I'm really proud of all the receivers. You know, I know Corbin and Luke and Tally didn't have as great as night as they expected, but they no complaining. They knew what the conditions were going to be, and they knew what we needed to rely on. And, you know, Braylon Burns was fortunate to get that one early, you know, a 67-yard touchdown pass. But other than that, you know, I'm just excited about how just the team play we had, like, you know, the overall team. And that was a team win last night.
So let's talk a little bit about the offensive line. You mentioned them earlier. When it's this time of year, you know you have to run the football to win. You have to. And talk about your offensive line and mention some of those kids who really stepped up last night because you control the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they all did great. Dakari King, Avante Morris, Eli Clark, Alex Judd, who's a sophomore, and EJ. And EJ's been hampered a little bit by just a tightness in his back, but they all five played really well, and they're jiving at the right time. They're communicating with each other. They're having far less MAs going on plays, and so you can tell they're really meshing at a good time of year.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your kicking game because special teams is always important. You've got really good special teams. Your kicker, I think, is he like 39 for 39 or 40 for 40 on PATs this year? I don't think he's missed one, has he?
Well, come on. We got another game.
Well, you got more than one game. Let's say. Yeah, but so far he hasn't missed one.
He's had a really good year. I'm really proud of Miles, and not only his extra points, his kickoffs, his field goals, his punts. He's done a really good job, and Miles is a little different. He gets a little excited and gets into it. One of their Lebanon players ran by running their mouth, and he's not scared to get right up with them, and that's just the competitiveness that he has, and I like that. He wants to be successful at everything he does, and he's bought into the team, and bought into being a Riverdale football. And when you got guys like that on special teams as your leaders, it's pretty good.
Well, when you see your kicker wanting to chest up to somebody, then it sends a message to everybody, right?
Yeah, and they're all fighting together and fighting for each other, and that's what you like to see.
Absolutely right. Okay, so Coach, let's talk a little bit about, of course, we got tied to horses, chasing the crown, running today at Churchill Downs in the River City, Kentucky Downs graduate, been in the money 15 out of 19 races, so he's one that's always right there. We're chasing the crown this week. You got to go to Maryville. Talk about that. Maryville with their steep tradition. I don't think Riverdale's beaten Maryville, but we know they are beatable because two Rutherford County teams have beaten them. Smyrna beat them years ago. Oakland has beaten them. So they're not unbeatable by any stretch. Talk about the opportunity to go to Maryville and what that presents to Riverdale football.
It's huge. I mean, we get a chance to go to Maryville, who's one of the top programs in the state. We feel we're right there with them. We're very proud of our program and what we've done and accomplished over the last few years. And, like I told our guys, man, y'all ought to be excited, man. It's a good opportunity. You're going to see a good football team. We've been battle-tested all year. We've played really good football teams this year. And, we've played them close. And they know what type of game it's going to be. They know that we got to execute. They know we can't have MAs. They know we can't give them free yards on unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. The atmosphere there is going to be electric. I mean, it's going to be awesome. I've been there twice as an assistant coach with Coach A-Lot, and unfortunately we come away with losses. But, just going there, and it's just different, It's what high school football is about, and you get that atmosphere, and the fans are right on top of you, and you got good football. And I'm excited for these kids, get on the bus and let's go. Let's make it a business trip, and let's go handle our business.
Yeah, handle your business. That's absolutely right. So let's talk about the improvement of Riverdale. When you think about you have been battle tested, started off with a couple of private schools, Knoxville Catholic, Father Ryan. You've played a good schedule throughout. The district is tough. Every game's a war. Talk about the improvement of your team from week one to now, and what you like what you're seeing.
Yeah,
here.
I mean, from week one to now, we've gotten a lot better. The receivers and quarterback are on the same page. The offensive line has improved tremendously. Losing LeBron, put us back a few weeks, and we struggled for a few weeks, but then those guys started gelling and they're meshing and they're doing the right things, and that's really helped us. It's opened up our run game. It's opened up success for Jacob. When you're able to run the ball also and throw it, it's a good combination, and that's what you need. You need that balance going to the playoffs. If you don't have a balance in the playoffs, it's an easy exit.
Absolutely right, Coach. Balance is the key. Like I said, you got to run the football to win when it's this time of year. Let's talk a little bit about your defense. Your defense has been really, really good. Only gave up 7 points last night. And you're right, Lebanon is a tough place to play. They've got a good program. So only gave up 7 points last night. Let's talk a little bit about defense and the importance and the improvement you've seen on that side of the ball.
They keep getting better each and every week. Jeremy Thompson, our sophomore middle linebacker, has done a great job. He's grown up, man. It's been really pleasant to see the growth that he's had, and our secondary is playing well. I think Dre Ote, has gotten better. He's been a lot more physical than I intended him to be, and I've been really proud of his growth. And Zayden Jones has played well, and Hudson Fuqua, who just committed to Mississippi State this week, he's playing extremely well, and Elijah Reams, and of course Aiden Edmonds, our middle backer, and then our whole front man. Coach Haley and Coach Martin do a great job. I mean, I mean, we'll run 3 on, run 3 off. You know, we rotate. We play like 7D linemen. And so when you have that luxury of running guys on and off like that, I mean, you know, we'll have a group play first and second down, and then he'll run another group in on third down. And, you know, to be able to have those fresh legs, you know, on third down and send guys to go get it, you know, if it's third and long, you know, that's good. That's depth. And that's a tribute to the assistant coaches getting all those guys ready. I mean, that means they're really investing in them in practice, not just the starters. They're investing in the second, because the second team guys are just as good as first team, and they all get reps, you know. So when you got that many guys playing, it keeps guys interested and involved this time of year.
You know, something that Coach Fulmer told me years ago when I was covering Tennessee football, the thing that made Tennessee really good was the internal competition. And with that, I mean, I know that the Riverdale, everybody's together and everybody's for everybody, but that internal competition of wanting to get out there and wanting to make plays and competing for that playing time, that makes you better too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. If you come to any of our practices, you would think our offense and defense hate each other. I mean, seriously, that's just how they get after it. I mean, our coaches are getting after each other. They're offense and defense. I mean, you know, of course, we're not hitting the quarterback, but anytime a defensive guy gets through, you know, on the offense, immediately the defensive coaches are yelling, sack, sack, you know. So it's I mean, we compete all through practice, and, you know, that's what I mean, that helps get guys better. You know, and that I think us going against our defensive front has helped our offensive line each and every week. If we don't practice the way we do, our offensive line doesn't get better. But our offensive line is having to practice against our front seven all the time. And they have no choice. Either they're going to get their butt chewed out or they're going to get better. And they chose to get better. And so they've gotten better each and every week at practice because of that.
I think you're absolutely right, Coach, because you've got probably maybe the best front seven in the county. I mean, you or one of the best front sevens in the mid-state, no doubt about that. So that, once again, that internal competition.
Yeah, it keeps guys fresh, it keeps guys rotating, and it keeps guys, they know that they just can't come to practice and go through the motions. You know, I couldn't say that, you know, at the beginning of my tenure at Riverdale. You know what I mean? We had guys that knew that their job wasn't going to be taken no matter how bad they practiced. And it's not like that anymore. They know that if they're not practicing up to the standard, the next guy's coming in. You know, we had a House, you know, came in and played last night at right tackle just to pull EJ early, and I think that was good quality reps. And I don't think Donovan House is ready for that situation unless he practices the way he practices each and every week and practices against our ones on defense.
Well, and at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is making kids better, not only on the football field but off the football field too, that you understand if you don't do your job, somebody's there waiting to take your place.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, it's a good life lesson, and it makes the kids work, keeps them hungry, and you want to keep like this time of year, you got to stay hungry. If you're not hungry, if you're just satisfied, it's one and done.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that, Coach. Let's talk. You mentioned a kid, Hudson Fuqua, and you mentioned Mississippi State, your Power 5 conference. Talk a little bit about that kid and the importance of seeing your players have those opportunities as far as going to the next level at that level, you know?
Yeah, you know, we've been very blessed to have some kids to have that opportunity and to be playing at that level. You know, and Hudson, man, like for him, watching him go through the recruiting process is probably one of the best I've seen. His intelligent questions that he asks the recruiters, the way he introduced himself, the way he just intermingles. I mean, he wanted specifically to know, where do you see me in your defense? What position? Can you outline a 3-year plan for me? Can you tell me what you expect? You know, and he chose a school that gave him the best answers. And he not just chose a school about athletics, it's academics. Academics is big. His mama is huge on academics, and he stays on top of the books. And no matter when his football career is over, Hudson's going to be successful just because just the drive he has, you know, and the drive that he has to want to be great.
Well, at the end of the day, it's going to end one day anyway, your football career, whether you go into coaching or business or whatever. So you're right, the academics, you cannot underscore the importance of that.
No, and you know, Coach Lebby's been down to watch practice, and I feel like he's meshed really well. You know, Coach Lebby seems like a really good guy, a great guy, and I feel like, you know, him and Hudson meshed and the defensive staff meshed just as soon as they came in there and visited. I know Hudson's going down to Mississippi State today to watch them in Georgia play. You know, he made a decision off of him being happy, not just a football decision, but he made a decision knowing no matter if the Coach Lebby leaves, will I still be happy at that place? And I think, you know, that's why he went ahead and committed as a junior, because nowadays if you wait too long, that transfer portal will get filled up, and you know, the DB room will get filled quick.
Well, right, and that's the thing about it is people don't understand that the transfer portal really hurts the freshmen more than anybody because you're not always having to recruit because you can just get somebody out of the transfer portal.
Yeah, it does. It's hard. We've had less traffic the last few years, college coaches coming in and out of the field house. Usually it's constant and it wears you down. And now it's kind of like sometimes gets like ghost town. And you feel bad for our seniors and our kids, but we're trying to help as much as we can to get them promoted and get them to the next level. And because these guys do, especially the mid majors and stuff, they all go to, and the college coaches will tell you now. We really like him, but we're going to go to the portal first. This kid looks really good. I get that all the time about Corbin Reynolds. Everybody loves Corbin Reynolds, and everybody wants Corbin Reynolds, but they want to see what they can get out of the portal first before they commit to him.
Right, and once again, that hurts your seniors especially. So let's talk a little bit. One more question. Maryville, what's the biggest key? If you could single out one thing that you want to see from your football team when you go to Maryville, what's the biggest thing you want to see from Riverdale Warriors?
You can't give them free yards. You cannot give Maryville free yards. When you play great teams like that, when it's going to be a battle, you can't have the unsportsmanlike conduct. You can't have the laziness of holding penalties. You know what I mean? You got to line up correctly. You can't jump off sides. We cannot give Maryville any free yards, and we got to hold our penalties to a minimum.
Well, I think that you're the man to do it, Coach Kreisky. You got that discipline. So here's what I encourage every Riverdale Warrior supporter. Get on the doggone bus and head to Maryville because the thing about it is
tell Miss Blair to let him out of school on Friday. Let's go.
Hey, Miss Blair, Clark said, I was there. Husband Clark said.
Yes, because Clark gets me in plenty of trouble. So we'll blame it on Clark said that Riverdale students can go to the game on Friday.
Yeah, well, I think they should because you're right. I've been there. It's been years ago with Smyrna when they beat them. The atmosphere is always electric. And it's a very special place to play. So get on the bus, head to Maryville. Let's support the Riverdale Warriors. And Coach Kreisky, we appreciate your time, Coach, and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Ideas Tees, who will be happy to help you fulfill all of your imprinted apparel, embroidery, and advertising specialty needs. Find out more at ideastees.com.
It's frustration many are feeling is real and justified. Kenneth Barrett said that after the county commission denied raises for deputies this year, and as sheriff, fair pay will be a top priority.
We need to figure out how we can get ours comparable to other agencies and start communication with the county commission to try to get less steps at a higher percentage.
With nearly 30 years at the sheriff's office, Barrett brings servant leadership, accountability, transparency, and fairness. Learn more at KennethBarrettForSheriff.com.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff, J.M. Stewart Treasurer.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Experts in joint, bones, and muscles. And with over 65 specialists, TOA has a playbook to get you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
How about a fix for your sweet tooth? Donut Country is open 24 hours a day to cure your cravings. They've been serving up the freshest donuts in Murfreesboro since 1978. There's just something different about donuts from Donut Country. Bo and Cindy Davis and their wonderful staff will greet you with a smile, and you'll see all donuts aren't created equal. Fresh donuts anytime you want them 24/7 at Donut Country on Memorial down from Clark. And they're open each morning on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Check out their Facebook page for specials and promotions. Nothing else compares to Donut Country. Open 24 hours.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
This is a paid legal ad.
At the law offices of John Day, we take only real cases that make a real difference.
Dear John, I want you to know that I appreciate everything you have done so much. I know you went over and beyond, and that's why I just think the world of you. Thank you. Robert K.
My pleasure, Robert. If you're ever injured, know that we are here for you too. Call the law offices of John Day for a free consultation. And remember, There's no fee unless we win your case. Seriously injured? Call me, John Day.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door.
If you're a homeowner with a quarter acre or several, Las Casas Feed Supply focuses on premium feeds and dog foods you won't find in the box stores.
Nutrition is our specialty here at Las Casas Feed.
Family owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, inviting you to stop by, visit, and enjoy the country.
Customer service and expertise that exceeds your expectations.
Las Casas Feed is also your place for local milk from the MTSU Dairy on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East in Las Casas.
If you're near retirement or thinking about retiring, you probably have a lot of questions. How do you make your savings last? You're ready for retirement, but are your finances? Let's work together to help ensure your finances can keep up with your unique needs over the long haul. I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Lee Colvin. Stop by our office in the Public Shopping Center on South Rutherford Boulevard or give us a call at 615-907-7056 for an appointment. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Ring Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
Choosing the right insurance can be overwhelming. That's where Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance comes in. At Rayburn, we're not just about policies, we're about people. Rick Hall will take the time to understand your needs and find the best coverage at the best price. We've been serving our community since 1973. So why not let Rick Hall take the stress out of insurance? Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency, where you're more than just a policy number. You're our neighbors.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450 wgnssports.com and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Dan France Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan France Concrete. Danny Brewer back with you, folks. I'm extremely pleased now to be joined by Smyrna High School coach Lance White. Coach White, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, we're happy to have you on here. You know, normally I introduce this as I'm pleased to be joined by the Dean of Rutherford County head football coaches, Matt Williams, because, you know, Coach Williams has been there. He's been at Smyrna. He is the longest tenured coach in Rutherford County, which to me is a huge statement to not only what he has done at Smyrna, but just his football knowledge and all that kind of stuff. So Coach White, let's tell a few people, kind of give me a little background of who you are and what you do at Smyrna High School, if you would please, sir, to get this thing started.
Well, I'm the defensive line coach. Came on board with Matt and the Bulldogs 2 years ago. So this was just my second year there, but my 25th, I have to do math, my 25th overall in coaching. And I spent a lot of time in Williamson County at Independence and Franklin as a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator before coming over here. And family lives in Rutherford County, and it just made sense to get close to the kids and to work for such a great guy in Matt Williams and a great coaching staff. I feel pretty well at home with these guys.
So, you know, Williamson County is no joke as far as football is concerned. You know, you got proud programs there. Like you said, you know, Independence, but you know, Independence has had some good seasons. Ravenwood is always a powerhouse. Brentwood has won state championships, all that kind of stuff. But when you made the move to Rutherford County, you know, of course, I'm prejudiced because I'm a Smyrna guy and all that stuff. But Rutherford County, I deem as the SEC of high school football when you talk about the 6A district, especially the region that you're in, you know, this year. Tell me a little bit about what it was like going from Williamson County to Rutherford County.
Well, it's like running a gauntlet. I mean, each and every week you're going to face somebody that's going to be physical, tough, and with a tough mindset, a tough program, well coached. You've got to really be sharp and on your game, both offensively, defensively, and in the special teams as well. And it's a battle. Each and every single week is a battle. There's no no way around it. Each and every team we face each and every week gives unique challenges to try to overcome. So it is a challenge, but it's an exciting challenge. It's what you do this for.
So we want to talk a little bit about Thursday night's game. Of course, Bulldogs made the playoffs as the 4 seed, had to go to Green Hill. Green Hill's got a pretty good football team. Things didn't necessarily go the way you want. Early, exciting. The pick six that put Smyrna up 7-0. Talk a little bit about that play, because that was a D lineman that did that, right?
Yeah, it was Anthony Staples doing what he's coached to do. He's a very coachable young man, and it was a screenplay, and Anthony read it perfectly and flattened out and just stepped right in the line of fire right there. And defensive lineman's dream, so to speak, to be able to pick one off and then not only pick it off, but to go on all the way into the end zone. It was an exciting play for him. I was super excited for that young man. He works very, very hard, brings it to practice every single day. And, we got a lot of kids like that. But super excited for Anthony. And it couldn't have started out better for us. There's a really exciting play to start the game with.
When you talk about D lineman's dream, I mean, you're right, because so you got the football in your hands, and you usually don't ever get the football in your hands, and there's only 15 yards between you and pay dirt, so you don't have to run real far for somebody, because somebody could likely will chase you down. So you're right, D lineman's dream.
D lineman's dream, fortunately for us, he knew exactly what to do with it. He had actually made a play like that earlier in the fall camp, and in a scrimmage of all things, he had made a play like that. So it was, something it was surprising, but it wasn't surprising at the same time.
Right, yeah, and of course, as the game unfolded, their horses kind of took over. When we talk about Green Hill, they got a pretty daggum good quarterback, and the running back there, he was pretty good too.
Well, they had a couple of them. They had two good running backs back there, and the quarterback is a dual threat kind of kid. And but I got to give credit to their offensive line. They really did some damage up front and got some push on us, and the running backs really had pretty good vision all night long. Just kept cutting back to the weak side, and give that team a lot of credit. They're senior heavy, and physical. They spread it to run it, and we knew that going in, and we knew what kind of challenge it would be going into it. But give them credit; they're well-coached football team and very physical up front. And it made a difference in the game.
Yeah, they're coached by Smyrna grad Josh Crouch, just to throw a little bit more Bulldog trivia out there for you. But the final score was 42-14, but the game was much closer than that. I mean, up until the midway through the fourth quarter, it was still in question. There were some things that didn't necessarily go your way, a few bad breaks and that kind of stuff. But still, a lot closer game than the final score indicates.
Agreed. Our kids played hard. Very proud of our kids. They never quit. They played their guts out all night long. And like you say, the team that makes the most breaks is usually going to win the game, and they made some breaks. We didn't. So again, give them credit. They came into the game with a good game plan, and they were very physical most of the night. But give credit to our kids too. They played hard and tough most of the night, like you said, and couldn't be more proud of this group.
I want to talk about another one of the D linemen, a kid who has impressed me throughout the entire season, actually through his entire Bulldog career, and that's Jerry Martin. What a warrior that kid is.
Yeah, he's going to be missed. He's a beast. He just does so many things, so many things on the field. And, we moved him around a lot, believe it or not. We moved him from the interior to the exterior, and always had a kind of a plan for that, and trying to zero him in on where he could fit best for us in which weeks. And then there's several games when, we asked him to go, both interior and exterior, and I mean, he handled it with tremendously. And he, like I said, he's a beast. He's one of the most explosive kids I've ever coached, and a real leader on the football team. And he's just, brings the energy every day. The rest of the team feeds off of him, and can't say enough good things about him. He's going to be sorely missed, going on to the next level, hopefully, and doing, the same thing he was able to do with us.
Well, I think that he had team high 8 tackles. He played, on the center most time. I saw him, and I know you had to move him around because other teams will game plan for him specifically because he is such an animal,
Yeah, we tried to leave him in the middle as much as we could most of the year because, we just didn't want people running away from him.
Right.
And, there were times when you needed him on the edge for pass rush, ability and things of that nature. But, most of the time we tried to leave him in the middle just so, people couldn't game plan away from that because he had the ability to destroy blocks and split up double teams better than anybody we had, and just strength and explosive ability and technique. He's one of the most coachable kids I've had at the same time. It's just, a fun thing to have, a player that has that kind of ability, but at the same time is as coachable as he was. It's just, I can't say enough good things about him. He's going to be tremendously missed. I wish I had 10 Jerry Martins. Really
no question. Because he also, just to finish up on him, there's a lot of things that he does that are not statistically graphed. And like you said about as far as because he'll take on a double team and that frees somebody up to make a tackle. So also non-statistical, outstanding, right?
Yes, when he's taking up 2 blocks and sometimes 3, that's freeing up a linebacker behind him. And then at the same time, I always talk to our defensive linemen about, sometimes a hurry is as good as a sack, because you can affect a throw. And he certainly had the ability to get push up the middle, from time to time and split double teams, which would definitely affect the throw of a quarterback, no question. But, just a tremendous force, which freed up a lot of other guys to make plays across our defense.
So, Coach, I want to I know that, obviously Smyrna, the season is done. We're putting a wrap on it. I want to rewind a little bit. So you've got 2 games left to go in the regular season. Destiny's in your own paws. If you win, you're in the playoffs, which is the goal every year for Smyrna, is always to be in the playoffs. The last 2 games were against your North Rutherford County rivals. Always, no matter what the records are, you outscored Laverne and Stewart's Creek 69-0. That was the combined scores of those 2 football games. How about that? The pride, especially you being D-line coach. How about that? Give me a little something on that.
Well, credit goes to our coaching staff for coming up with great plans, and our team for buying in. Our kids, did the work. Our coaches did the work, and that's where the credit's got to go first. And you had to treat both of those weeks, like you said. You've got to treat both those weeks like playoff weeks. We knew what was at stake. We're very honest with our kids up front. Here's what's at stake, and they accepted that challenge each and every day of practice. We had good weeks of practice both of those weeks going in, and that's just a testament to the players for accepting it, and it's a testament to our coaches for coming up with good plans at the same time. So couldn't be more proud of the program in general over that. But it playoff mentality is what that came down to those 2 weeks.
paint the wall. I think that's what that's Coach Williams' goal, is to paint the wall, because I think that's what happens with the Stewart's Creek and Laverne is we paint the wall down there at Smyrna with those wins. So so you painted the wall, and it was good to get out the paintbrush for those 2 weeks. Lee, you mentioned program. Let's talk a little bit about the Bulldog program. How about them facilities down there?
Oh, second to none. I've been in some good places, and it's amazing what we have there. The square footage of the weight room, the updated locker room facilities. It's just and taking pride in what we have. You just couldn't be more blessed with good people helping us out on that over the years. Like I said, this was my second year coming in, and so I came into when it first opened. But I coached in other places and actually had to face Smyrna over the years in the old facilities as well. So I remember what it was like, and what an upgrade! What an upgrade it is, and it certainly helps the football program overall. You got all that space that you can work with, and can get more players in the weight room at once. It couldn't be more blessed with it. Got coaching space as well, to sit down and game plan and do what we need to do there, and watch film, and it's second to none. It's tremendous facilities, yes sir.
So let's talk a little bit about, I know we're losing Jerry Martin, as far as Smyrna loses Jerry Martin, and he's going to be a big loss. But talk about some of the other kids got come back, because kind of sophomore, junior heavy, right?
We were junior heavy, for sure. Outside of, Jerry's obviously, a big loss for us, but we've got a lot of our D linemen back next year, including Staples, who had the pick six the other night. We got several guys coming back up there on the defensive front. We've got, linebacker in Sanders coming back as well, and we've got, a junior heavy class. So it's exciting. Looking forward to the future. Getting these guys here in a few weeks. We got the dead period stuff coming up that we've got to take, and by rule, and but after that, getting back to work in the weight room and in the off season, and it's kind of nice that you can have so many guys returning that you can, hopefully you can pick up where you've left off. So exciting outlook for the future for sure.
So a little bit about the freshman program as well, because I think you had a pretty good freshman class this year, right?
We did. We were very excited about those freshmen. A lot of good linemen in that group too. So, we needed that.
Yeah.
Coming through. Can't win without the big boys up front. That's for sure. And yeah, we got a lot of good kids in that the last couple of weeks. Some of them coming up and helping us in practice. I didn't get a chance a lot of times to see him in person, game-wise. I was always coaching with the JV and, on Monday nights, so I didn't always get a chance to see him. But I know from the last few weeks of having him with us in the in varsity practices and filling in some spots on our scout teams, it's a good-looking group coming up, and we couldn't be more excited about them. We got a lot of good kids in that group too, so very coachable kids, and seem to absorb, pretty well what we're telling them. So it's exciting, very exciting.
Well, Coach White, I offer you congratulations on a good season, another good season for Smyrna. We certainly appreciate your time, and we wish you folks the best of luck as we move forward.
Okay, I appreciate you having me, and go Bulldogs.
Yeah, boy, Coach. So the Coaches Show is brought to you by Rick's Barbecue, serving up the best smoked barbecue, ribs, and many local favorites on Warrior Drive, locally operated by Anne Marie Brents and the Lanning family.
Turn to Turner Security.
Hey, it's Brian, and we've relied on Turner Security for systems here at WGNS and Big GTV for many years. Their advanced security solutions with real-time monitoring and automation keep us safe. Plus, their expert IT service ensures our tech runs smoothly, from networks, computers to troubleshooting. Their team tailors solutions to our needs, and I highly recommend them for home or business solutions for you.
Turn to Turner Security.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
Craig's Tax Service is located just off Memorial on Heritage Park Drive. You can contact us at 890-2233.
It makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We are proud to support all Rutherford County student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by the law offices of John Day, providing superior legal representation to injury victims and their families. Find out more at johndaylegal.com. Danny Brewer back with you. I'm better than a bologna sandwich right now because I got Matt Kreisky, the head football coach of Blackman High School. Coach Kreisky, how are you this morning?
Doing great. Glad to be here. Glad to working and still preparing for a game next week.
Right, yeah, because first round of the playoffs, 24-9, beat Gallatin on Thursday night. So let's talk a little bit about the Thursday night deal. I understand why you did it, whether completely agree with that. Did that change things a lot for you when that was, because I know that was probably like a Tuesday or Wednesday decision?
Tuesday afternoon, Gallatin coach called, and we were just talking about it, throwing some ideas out there. He called back right before we went on the practice field and said, let's do it. And he had one stipulation, if we could push it back to 7:30. So you're looking at 3:30, you're walking on the practice field. After practice, you're telling kids we're going to practice Wednesday morning. You're going to play a Thursday night game at 7:30 when you played every game the past 10 games at 7 o'clock. So that's with some change. Was I a little concerned? I was, because you never know how these teenagers are going to handle it. But I told the kids they got to go through the same thing. So we, practice. I thought we had a decent practice Tuesday. Not bad Wednesday morning. I thought we came out defensively came out pretty strong. Offense struggled in the first half, but turned it on in the second half. And that's, I told the kids after the game, you get a win. No matter how you get a win this time of year, it's always good. So I'm glad that I got up watching film this morning. Making a travel plan to Dobbs Bennett, and it's great. It's a good time to be ablaze.
So let's talk a little bit about the second season here, because basically it's survive in advance. That's all you want to do, right?
Yes. You got to find a way to win, no matter how it is. They're all not at this time of year. They're all not going to be pretty. I told the kids after the game, from here on out, we're playing some pretty good teams. Dobbs Bennett was number one in their region. They've only lost one game this year, I believe. We see them on film. They're huge up front. I mean, they're big up front. They're physical. They got a quarterback who can run the ball well. He also can throw it. They got a receiver, number one. Watched him last night, and he's a big guy. Body type kind of reminds me of Ethan Carson, who we had last year.
So, Coach, let's talk a little bit about the Gallatin game. 3-3 at the half. Halftime message because obviously you guys were heavily favored in that game because you're Blackman, and no discredit to Gallatin, but Blackman is Blackman, and you've been Blackman all year long. So tell me a little bit about the message at halftime when you're tied 3-3.
Tell the kids we have 24 minutes that are guaranteed. That's all we have guaranteed right now. Money practice is not guaranteed. We have 24 minutes that are guaranteed. How are we going to handle it? Tell the defensive guys, keep doing what you're doing. Don't get frustrated with the offense. We're going to come out and make some plays. And I called out Javion. I told Javion, didn't have a great first half. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't a Javion Elliott type of first half. I looked at him and told him, we believe in you, Javion. We have your back. We know that you're going to come out and do what you're supposed to do, and he did. Rushed for 60 yards in the second half, into the game with 67 yards passing. That's part of being a quarterback in this area, in this league. You got to know how to handle it, and the way he responded is how you want a quarterback to respond. So really proud of him, and I'm really proud of how we came out. We were flat. Our energy on the sideline was not good. The kids, we came out, and once we scored, it was the team that I've seen all year, and I guess that's what we needed. We needed that touchdown, that little spark to get us going. So we scored, and then it affected the defense. They started playing even better. So just everything kind of trickled down and going our way in the second half.
So Javion Elliott, I want to touch on him just a little bit. Very dynamic quarterback, dual threat, like you said. He did have 167 yards passing. 6 yards, I think 10 yards a carry is what he averaged rushing the football. Absolutely a dual threat. What he does for your offense is pretty incredible. Talk about that a little bit.
It's what he does is great. He's able. They have to defend all 11. They're not trying to game plan against 10 guys. The quarterback is just going to stand there. They got to defend Javion because with what he can do with his legs. I believe it was a third, and I'm not mistaken, it was maybe a 3rd and 12, a 3rd and 15, and he picked up a first down. A 30-yard gain for us that put us inside the red zone, and then we end up scoring off that drive, and that was huge. And the thing about him is he doesn't really get rattled. He's calm, doesn't get upset, and so he the way he responded in the second half is what I wanted to see, and I knew he could do that, and I'm proud of him for how he handled it. And and then yesterday, Friday, came into school, we got our lift in, we watched film, and and he knew, first thing he came up to me, his head was down, and I said, "What, Javion?" He said, "I didn't play well." I said, "We won the game. Yes, you didn't play 2 quarters well, but you played the 3rd and 4th quarter well. So that's what we need to need." At times he's probably these kids, 15, 16, 17-year kids, are probably a little too hard on themselves at times, and that's not what they need to be. I want them to have fun. I want them to enjoy the game. We won a first-round game at home, and so let's be happy with that, and let's start working towards Dobbs Bennett.
So, Coach, talk a little bit about the defense, because I know the offense has been pretty dynamic. You put a lot of points up, but talk about the defense and how your defense has played all year, because you've been pretty dead good on that side of the football as well.
Yeah, our defense, James Stewart, Tramel Johnson, Jarrison Daniel, Trey Thornton, I can go on and on, Emory Harris, about these guys on defense and what they do, how aggressive they are, physical. They're students of the game. They study the game. They know what our opponent's going to do. I was talking with Coach Crosby last night during the Dobbs Bennett game, and he already had some defensive guys messaging him, talking about things that we can do to probably, hopefully, expose and get after Dobbs Bennett next week. And that just says a lot, man. These guys, live and breathe football, and they're a fun group to be around. High energy at all the time. They make practice fun each and every week.
So talk a little bit about the physical approach. You mentioned that, and of course that's one of those things that I think is absolutely key in football, especially in this area.
Yeah.
When you think about the district that you play in, the physical approach of these boys.
Yeah, it's something that during practice we've got to scale back, because these guys are so physical that we don't want to hurt each other. About 2 weeks ago, I told the guys, I said, we're going into our ninth game of the year, and y'all trying to kill your teammates. We've got to make it to Friday. This tournament, we got to make sure that everyone's healthy on Friday. They don't like it on days when I say we're tagging off, because that's not them. That's not what our defense is about. And that, as a coach, that's what you absolutely love. When you have to tell your defense you need to scale back and tag off, and they get mad about it. It's fun because that's who we are, and that's what we want to be, a type of defense. And and the way they approach practice, and the way they want to practice each and every day. Going into Rockville, we probably had one of our most physical team practices. I basically had to end it because it was getting so physical, and some of our starters were getting in on scout team offense just to go against our defense. When you have that type of team trying to be that physical on a Wednesday practice, man, you know you got a good group of guys.
So when you got kids that can run and then they love to hit, that's a match made in heaven, isn't it?
Yes, and competitive. You got guys that are competitive, and coaches get upset. When kids say they want the ball, they want this, but our kids want the ball because they want to show what they can do, and their talents. They're not doing it to be selfish because they want. It's not about them. They want to help the team win. They want to find a way to team win. Jabari Kemp, he wants the ball because he knows that he can help the team win. Brylan O'Dore wants to touch the football because he knows that he can help Blackman football win a game.
So you mentioned Dobbins Bennett. That's your next opponent. The bracket. This is the first year where they've kind of changed things up, because it used to be, second round, you was going to knock heads most likely with a district opponent.
With Riverdale again?
Exactly. Yeah, with Riverdale. That's what it would have been last year's bracket, and for many years that was how they did. Agree or disagree with the change of the bracket, or do you want to give me any kind of opinion on that? Because I know there's pros and cons both ways.
Yeah, I mean, we're not having to see somebody in our region again. Last year at this time we were preparing to play Riverdale again. We're playing an opponent that I don't know. I tried to look it up yesterday. I don't know if Blackman's ever played Dobbs Bennett. I worked on a itinerary from starting at 7:45 in the morning and ending at around 2:45 a.m. on Saturday morning for Friday. So it's something different. It's a challenge. We're going to be together as a team from about 7 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the morning on the next day. So it's something different. It's a neat experience. It's almost like a college experience for most of these guys. We have not, since I've been at Blackman, have not traveled like this. So we're gonna feed them. We're gonna feed them breakfast, feed them lunch, feed them dinner, and feed them after the game. The expenses, it's going to be an expensive trip, but overall it's neat. We don't have to see Riverdale, we don't see Oakland, we don't have to see somebody in our region who we see each and every year, and plus the playoffs. There's the pros and cons, but I think it's going to be a fun trip for not only for our players but for our fans. To go somewhere different.
Absolutely right. So for the record, Blackman is 1-0 lifetime against Dobbins Bennett. If my statistics are correct,
I should have known you would have had the stat.
Well, I got him from somebody else. Because I
want you to take credit for it. Don't give it to anybody else.
So I'm going to take credit for this. We're going to talk about horse racing. Epic Ride runs today in the River City handicap at Churchill Downs. Epic Ride. He won the Mint Millions back at Kentucky Downs back in the 1st of September. The Epic Ride you're on right now, this is part of it, because this is something where you mentioned this. This is a memory maker right here. Yeah. When you think about, we're going to Dobbins Bennett, is it in Kingsport, Tennessee, which is like right there on the Virginia line? Is that right?
Yeah, it's Kingsport. And these kids, there's going to be these kids that are going to remember this trip for a lifetime. From what we do and how we travel, we're going to do a walkthrough at Carson Newman. We appreciate Coach Ingram being open to that and taking care of us. And so it's going to be a fun, neat experience for all the guys, for our coaches, for our players, for our parents. And it's going to be fun. And we're going to go down there. We're going to travel. We're going to get on a bus. We're going to travel 5 hours. We're not going to make an excuse at all. And we're going to come out at 7 o'clock Eastern time, and we're going to be ready to play football.
So if you want to continue this epic ride you're on right now, because it's been a great season. It's been a fantastic season for Blackman football. To continue this epic ride, what's the biggest thing you want to see from your team when you go to Dobbins Bennett?
I would like to see offensively. I would like to see us start out in the first half and play better. I know we had some nerves on Thursday, but I would like to see the kids start out fast, how we did in the previous 2 games. And attack Dobbs Bennett because they're going to be they're going to be physical. We have a tough challenge Friday night. So I want us to match their physicality. I think maybe we may have a little advantage on speed wise. So I'm hoping that we can take advantage in that. But you can tell they're a well coached football team. And so I hope that we handle the travel well. I hope we handle the change in schedule well, and then come out at 7 o'clock ready to play.
When you think about all of that, wrapping up, do these kids put the Rutherford County flag on? Are they flying the Rutherford County flag in their hearts to know that, hey, look, we're going to East Tennessee. We're going to show these boys what Middle Tennessee's got. Yeah, and you hear it from Coach Creasy will tell you this, my brother will tell you this, every coach in the county will tell you this. Our kids want, as bad to say, they want Oakland to win, they want Riverdale to win because they know that we are the brand of football in the state of Tennessee and what we represent. And I'll say this about Rockville because we played them a week ago. I would put a lot on that they would have played somewhere Friday night and they could have won a football game. That's how impressed I was with them a week ago. And so I think as coaches, yes, we're real competitors, but at the end of the day, we want to see our county succeed and our county to do well in the playoffs to show who we are and what type of football. Because anytime that anyone lines up against anyone in our county, they know it's going to be a physical football game. Coach, I can't let you go without talking about the youth program at Blackman because that's what's got you part of where you're at right now, and that's what the pride of football in Middle Tennessee because it starts with the little kids. So talk a little bit about the youth program at Blackman and what that's done for you guys.
Oh, man, it's amazing. Coach Nate's going to probably at the championship games right now, but this guy right here next to me, he plays. Can't say enough about his coaching staff and what Coach Austin and that group has done for my son. You see it. You see these guys bleed Blackman football from the time they're 6, 7, 8 years old, all the way the guys that play all the way through high school, and how they want to be a Blackman Blaze. And what I say about Nate, there's been 3 or 4 times this year at our home games, Nate texts me and says, "Hey, Coach, I got 50 to 100 guys are going to come to the game. We'll take care of y'all later." And no, you don't have to take care of us. Just getting those guys there to the games on a Thursday night, on a Friday night, means a lot. And seeing those guys, those kids, whenever I go over to the elementary school, wearing the Blackman youth jerseys, and then you see them at Coach Hillis and what they're doing at the middle school. It's just, I've said it on here numerous times, and we're at a 6A high school, but it's a small town feel, a small town community feel when you see it, especially when you see our homecoming and homecoming activities and what we do. During the year and how every school is, it's when you say we are Blackman, the principals, the administration, the whole community understands that and knows what it means when we say we are Blackman. The fire is burning bright over there. So I'm going to challenge the Blackman community right now, just like I did with Rudolph, get on the bus. Yes. And get on over there to Kingsport, Tennessee, because we want to continue to carry the flag and go on over there and support Blackman football because it's going to be a fantastic football game. And Coach Kreisky, we certainly appreciate your time. Wish you the best of luck. Thank you. Their media guys last night on the radio said Blackman will not have 200 fans at the game Friday night. So, yes, I challenge our Blackman community, our Blackman family. Please get in the car, drive 5 hours. You're going to see an exciting game Friday night and come out and support these young men that's having a great year. Yeah, so 200 plus. So, yeah, we're going to whoop the butts in the stands and whoop the butts on the football field. Coach Kreisky, appreciate your time, man. Thank you for having me on. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Parks Auction Company. Let their team of experienced and professionally trained staff utilize the auction process to sell your property. Find out more at parksauction.com.
Do you love WGNS Radio? Well, now you can watch it too. WGNS Big G TV brings your favorite radio shows live and on demand. From breaking news and community talk to Rutherford County's top local sports. We've got it all right at your fingertips. Watch anytime, anywhere. WGNS Big G TV, where radio comes to life.
Kenneth Barrett believes accountability begins with the sheriff and will make it a foundation of his sheriff's office. For 27 years, he's led with integrity, fairness, and a willingness to hold himself and his team to the highest standards. That commitment deepens public trust, improves morale, and strengthens safety across Rutherford County. Kenneth Barrett as Rutherford County Sheriff is a leader you can count on.
I'm Kenneth Barrett, running for Rutherford County Sheriff. I'd appreciate your vote.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff, Treasurer J.M. Stewart.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Auctions are easy, fast, and profitable.
You have a staff that comes to your home. They walk you through it. It's been my experience. What I thought I should get for my home, I got much more for it.
Call Parks Auction and Realty or visit parksauction.com.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27.5.
You've heard people say, you know your work by your name, but there's no better name for residential and business concrete work than Dan France Concrete. From basic slabs to decorative stamping, for your next concrete project, call Dan France Concrete, 615-642-5152.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Trust me, Dan is committed to the community and will offer you a great product. He'll stand behind his work and make sure you're satisfied with every aspect of the work. Dan France Concrete.
At Middle Tennessee Electric, we see the lines that link us all, illuminating our neighborhoods, empowering our businesses, and helping us to recharge. Because we believe in the power of good energy. Whether it comes from our grids, the sun, or a kind heart. And as your family and our region continue to grow, you can trust that we'll always be there for you. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Raider Tees isn't just about t-shirts. We've got jackets, scarves, polos, hats, even jewelry and home decor. Everything to show off your Middle Tennessee Blue Raider pride. Whether you're headed to the game or just want to represent the Blue Raiders every day, we've got you covered. Literally. Come check out our exclusive designs and unbeatable selection at 111 East MTCS Road, right across from MTCS. Raider Tees, bigger, better, and go blue.
Pizza. Murfreesboro's favorite pizza is now hiring at all 3 local locations. That's right. We want you to join the Sir Pizza team. Stop in at our East Main, Veterans Parkway, or Memorial Boulevard locations and let us know how you'd like to join the Sir Pizza family. Also, we've made it even easier to order for carryout or delivery. Just head on over to sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
Our Coach's Show is brought to you in part by Dr. Automotive, the cure for your car. Professional auto repair maintenance from ASE certified mechanics and master mechanics, online at autorepairSmyrna.com. Time to talk Oakland football. The Patriots winners 42-10 over the Cookeville Cavaliers, and it is always a pleasure to send Cookeville home with a loss. That goes back to the old days of, it's crazy to think that they were district at that time, district opponents back in the day.
That is wild.
You know, considering how far they are. And we went with Riverdale last night to Lebanon, and Lebanon was one of those old district opponents. It's kind of fun to have some of those old matchups for the old timers. I know there are Oakland fans that remember playing Cookeville and that kind of thing. So
yes, and back in the day, Cookeville, Lebanon, Gallatin, they always gave Rutherford County fits.
So those were some cool retro matchups. Had to deal with a lot this week, but I'm sure, knowing that you can be at home and deal with some of these problems, it's okay. But rain forecast, what goes into making those decisions? And is that something that you do? Is that something that someone else on staff, or is it administration? How do you decide to say, hey, we're going to play on Thursday instead of Friday?
Yeah, you got to have the administration on board, of course. They'll have to be at every game, and so you got to make sure that it works for their schedule. And of course, there's other sports that are starting up now, and You got to worry about, concerns with security and make sure that you can get those guys there. And referees have to travel. They're not going to have refs from your area anymore. So we had referees from Chattanooga, so we had to make sure that we could get those guys. And both teams have to agree on it. So we actually were having a region meeting. We were selecting our all-region team with all the coaches, and we got to talking about the weather. I didn't know anything about the weather being bad, and luckily, we were talking about it, and some people were mentioning moving it, and nobody had moved it yet. And
was that on Monday?
Yeah, Monday. Yeah, Monday morning. So, sent a message over to Coach Hennigan and just tried to see where they were. And of course, he was like me, and he'd seen the weather, thought about it, and so he had to work with buses and coordinate meals and all that. So it took a couple days to get an answer. I think Tuesday night around 10 o'clock we got an answer, and so we just changed our Wednesday practice from shells and helmets and shoulder pads to just helmets, like a Thursday practice. So we had one last day practice, but so did they. So ultimately we had a good Monday, Tuesday practice, and it worked out for us.
I think that if you're around sports like we are, it's nothing for like baseball to decide, well, it's going to rain, so we're going to do a doubleheader the day before, or and looking at the weather and doing that. But you're talking about a much smaller group of people that are affected. When you're talking about carrying 100 kids plus on the road in a bus and all the logistics that go around having a football event, it just takes a lot of coordination. So
it does. And like I said, I did get a chance to text Coach Hennigan last night and tell him that we look like geniuses by moving the game. We were happy that we got to stay dry and had a clean game. And ultimately I thought everybody kind of got their ducks in a row and they made the trip. And unfortunately our fans didn't always get the memo. There was quite a few empty seats. I think we actually, doing the math, we actually lost money hosting a home playoff game. So that was disappointing. By the time you pay everyone that's got to work the game, we end up in the red. So that was very disappointing. Of course, you look up in the stands and they're not just half empty, they're like 3/4 empty. So apparently we didn't get the word out very good, or maybe people around here are just getting spoiled with first round matchups being easy for Oakland, but that wasn't the case. I thought Cookeville did a heck of a job, especially coming out in the second half and just taking it right down our throat and scoring. We did have a quick start, but unfortunately there wasn't a lot of people there to see it.
I think you're onto something when we talk spoiled, by the way. And it's, well, we can do next week. There's no guarantee of next week, even though you may be favored and all that kind of thing. And I don't know what the answer to that is, but I do know that we've went through that in girls basketball, where it was just expected that we were going to be at the Murphy Center, and then it was boys basketball joining that. Well, last year there was nobody that went to the Glass House, and it's like, well, what happened? Yeah. So you got to enjoy this. If you're an Oakland football fan, there's a place for you to be there and help the team. I don't think a lot of people realize that Cookeville made more money than you did.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. They didn't have to pay for ticket takers, extra admin to come in and work the game, the announcer, the guy that runs the Jumbotron. We had to pay 12 guys for security, that's required.
For a few hundred people.
Yeah. So luckily the fan to security ratio was very low, so we didn't have really any incidents. But at the same time, I think you look across the state, I believe Oak Ridge was probably favored. They go into a game where they're 9-1 and they're hosting a game, and then their season's over. And there's a lot of people that didn't get to see those seniors play their last game, and that's unfortunate. But at the same time, I think it's just kind of a slap in the face to the players that give all this time and effort and work hard to make it to the playoffs and get us to where we can have a favorable matchup, in round one at home. But it's disappointing to see that people aren't supporting them, and I don't know what exactly was going on that was, happening Thursday night in Murfreesboro.
Well, I can give you a few more examples of that. Germantown fans go in as the number 2 seed, and they think they're going to take care of business and play the next week and whatever. Well, 2-7, Houston comes in and beats them. Independence last night goes to number 1 Clarksville and wins in overtime by a touchdown. You mentioned the Science Hill Oak Ridge game with Science Hill winning that in a 2-3. And there was yet another 1-4 game that went to overtime, Dobbins-Bennett and Farragut. And Dobbins-Bennett, after a weather delay, comes out and wins. Those are all 1-4, 2-3 matchups that we just mentioned, and that's only in 6A.
That's only in 6A.
You're not guaranteed, like you say.
That's right. So, like I said, I do think that the players deserve better. I do think that we got to do a better job of promoting it, maybe, especially if we're changing the schedule around or whatever. But, you would think that that would make things pretty cool to have a Thursday night game and have some people show up, maybe from other schools. But unfortunately, I don't know. Somebody got the memo that it wasn't going to be a close game, and actually it was really a competitive game that kind of got lopsided late.
Well, I'd also want to mention that this is a Cookeville team that played Lebanon in the last week of the regular season and beat Lebanon, the 2 seed. So,
yeah. Beat them by 4 scores, so it was a slapping. So Cookeville was playing their best game at the end of the season, and like I said, that got our guys' attention, and I'm proud of the way we responded, not looking at a 4-6 record like some of our fans obviously did, but they went out and they prepared, and they started out really good and finished the game where it was supposed to be finished.
We're talking with Kevin Creasy and talking Oakland football. A lot of kids got touches in that game, which, that's a norm for you. You're going to play 4 running backs in a close game anyway. I mean, it seems.
Right.
And it's good to have that depth and keep fresh legs out there. Craig Tutt, 144 yards on 9 carries. Justice Haggard, who's playing very, very well right now, 7 carries, 113 yards. Morton ran well. Kamani Bass, of course, Dante. So you got the job done on the ground, which is what you want to do. Anybody else offensively stick out in your mind on Thursday?
Yeah, I thought the offensive line did a really good job. Cookeville has really good size, especially at nose guard, and I thought we did a pretty good job of blocking. I thought that was kind of a point of emphasis to kind of clean up some things from the week before. Had trouble with Riverdale's defense, like so many other people do, and so we had some things we had to clean up. And then, you look at our special teams, we're doing a better job with that, and then defensively, we got 2 really good inside linebackers, but then you look outside, Chevy Armour, one of our best outside linebackers, had another pick 6. So
great name too, by the way.
Chevy Armour, yeah, that's like his 2nd pick 6, and I think it's his 4th defensive touchdown. So he had a heck of a game for us, and he's only a junior.
There were others. I think Colin Williams had 9 tackles, 1 for loss in that. And I don't think I had the defensive stats, but I didn't get a chance to see you last week. And when we did the broadcast last week, I got to call the name Gainer again. So, it was good to see him.
Kyrie's a heck of a defensive back that's been out, and now he's back healthy. And so, yes, we're a whole lot better with Kyrie Gainer out there.
Just having his presence out there. But sometimes when you have kids out, that allows you to develop some depth, which you all are really good at, and being able to fill some gaps with kids who are really ready to go next man up, and then all of a sudden they splash on the scene. It's like, well, where was this? But these guys, they've been working hard in practice every day.
Yeah, we always try to have 3 guys for 2 positions. If we got 2 corners, we try to have 3 guys. If we have quarterback position, just 1 guy, we try to have 2 guys for the quarterback spot. Tight end position, usually just 1 guy, but we're lucky enough to have 2 guys that can play that. 2 guards, we try to have 3 guys ready to play. So we always have that 3rd guy. A 4th guy might make it where they're not quite as good a lot of times backups are backups for a reason. But if you can have 3 guys that can play 2 spots, and so when a Kyrie goes down, we can just plug someone in like Valon Henderson, and it turns out to be okay.
Yeah. You're kind of masterful at this, I think, and your assistance with that, because if you've got somebody that's that talented, they're going to want to play. And so you got to come up with some type of rotation. Case in point, and I know you probably are sick of even talking about having 2 quarterbacks, but that's a kind of a norm for you. But given touches, that's how you do that. So, but isn't that hard to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity?
Yeah, and it's win or go home. So the
stakes are high.
The generosity touches, the make you feel good touches are all out the window. We're going to do what it takes to win. Right now we're rotating 3 guys at 2 offensive tackle spots, and I think there's probably all 3 of them want to be the starter only. But that's why they are who they are. We want them to be competitive, and we want them to win the spot outright. But we got 3 guys that can play those 2 positions. And cream usually rises to the top. Maybe one day it'll just be 2 guys. But in the meantime, we've got 3 guys that are very capable of playing offensive tackle. And, that's a luxury that not a lot of people have.
Kevin Creasy's here with us. Kevin, I'm going to ask you about your Mr. Footballs here in a second too, but I just thought of something that I had the chance to listen to some broadcast on Thursday night, and heard Gallatin broadcasters talking about the game the week before at Oakland Riverdale, and be nice to see Oakland take an L, and then we heard that in the press box at Lebanon last night, and it just made me think, you guys play with a target on your back every single week. You don't have many fans in the corner that don't have the O on their helmet.
Well, that's usually kind of a badge of honor when you got all these surrounding county guys that wouldn't mind seeing you lose. Lebanon's had plenty of opportunities to make us lose. Gallatin had their shot, didn't quite get there. So, anytime they want to schedule a non-region game, we're always looking. So we had never shied away from playing anybody from Middle Tennessee, that's for sure.
And they're never the ones that call you to say, hey, I'll play you a game, are they?
Yeah, they aren't looking too hard. So
they might drive 2 hours away instead of coming 30 minutes, right?
Well, like I said, they got my number.
Okay. Well, Mr. Football semifinalists were announced this week, and you have 2 of the semifinalists, which to have 1 is an honor, to have 2 is a great honor, and couldn't happen to 2 better kids in Craig Tutt and Joel Wyatt.
Yeah. Craig's been a force on both sides of the ball since he was a sophomore.
Yeah.
And, we talk about a freshman quarterback starting, and a freshman O-line and Trent Gibbs starting. In the past, it's been we never start sophomores. And Craig Tutt started as a sophomore, had a heck of a career so far. Hopefully he has 4 more great games. And then Joel Wyatt, man, he's just a complete football player. If you're going to design a football player, you're going to make the measurables like he is, 89-inch wingspan, 6'4.5", got a 40-inch vertical, runs a 10-500 meter. So yes, he's very deserving of Mr. Football
and I've
nomination.
heard from many people that one of the nicest kids that you'll ever meet.
That's right. He is, and like I said, he was raised right, and you could tell his grandmother had a great influence on him, and we're reaping the benefits of that because he's a pleasure to be around, a delight in the weight room, real good in the locker room, fit in perfect with us, and he's a competitor, and he's harder on himself than anybody else is. So you don't really have to get after him too much because he's really making sure that he's making the plays he's supposed to, and correcting any mistakes that he makes.
Well, Coach, a chance to play at home once again Friday night. It's Bradley Central. It's a team that we've had to become a little familiar with. 2 years ago, you went to Bradley Central in the semifinals, and because of the way the brackets are done now, it's an earlier meeting. But I think that was the first football meeting, at least in a while, 38-17 win there. But that was 2 years ago. What do you know about the Bears?
Well, we're familiar with the Bears just because of Coach Floyd. I think Damon Floyd does a heck of a job, but at the same time, they had one of the best players in the state on the team, Boo Carter.
Yeah.
Luckily, he's graduated, but at the same time, last time we played them, Doodle scored, I think, all 5 of our touchdowns. So we'll be missing him like they're missing Boo, I'm sure. But both those guys are at UT now. With that said, Coach Floyd got his team to fight back. We had a heck of a game with those guys. It was the first time in my 10 years that we didn't play Maryville, and so we had to go play them at their place, and we go up 17-0, and they fight back and tie the game 17-17, and things got real hairy. And so credit to those guys. They always play hard. They're a hard-nosed bunch, tough kids, and always well coached.
They don't have as much familiarity, and so you may get up on an opponent here 17-0. It's like, oh well, here's the train, but not them.
Right.
And they're going to bring that same mentality on Friday night.
That's right. I'm sure they're going to pull up a tape from a couple years ago and just be like, look, we had these guys on the ropes, and they could have been us playing the state championship. They were 1 week away, so they had a good bunch that year, and they got a good bunch this year. And to go on the road and win at Jefferson County, I think Jefferson County was 9-1. To go on the road and to beat those guys, it's pretty impressive.
That was another one of those upsets, 2 going to a 3, and doing that at Jeff County. So that'll be next Friday night, barring any weather, I guess. But I guess you have to say, but it's definitely going to turn colder, and we're going to see that when you're playing this time of the year. But they sell hand warmers, and you've got hot chocolate at the stadium, so no reason not to come out.
That's right. You better come on out and get you a good seat while you can.
All right, Coach. Appreciate you coming in this morning. Congrats on the win, and we'll see you at Friday night with Bradley Central.
All right, sounds good.
Coach Kevin Creasy joining us this morning on the Coach's Show, brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity. Online at mte.com.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
We fulfill all your tax preparation needs from individual returns to corporations and handle any of those scary letters you may get from the IRS.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
We're at Rick's Barbecue talking with Anne-Marie Brents, who says they're ready to feed your entire crew with the family pack.
It's a pound of pork or any of our pulled meats, and then you get 2 16-ounce sides, and then you get a bag of chips, which are plain or barbecue, and then the buns come with it, and then you get one of our drink choices, which is either a 2-liter of one of our sodas or a half-gallon of one of our teas.
And don't forget the famous Rick's Loaded Baked Potato.
That's the biggest potato you can get. They're right at 2 pounds.
Let Rick's Barbecue do the cooking, 212 Warrior Drive.
Your ride, your stuff. You live with them together. I'm State Farm Agent Andy Wommel. It's smart to protect them together, to help life go right. Give me a call at 615-890-0850 and let me help you save by combining your auto and renters.
At State Farm, when home and auto work as a team, you score and save money. I'm State Farm Agent Alex Williams. Give me a call at 615-898-1150. And let's work together to win big by saving money on home and auto.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
Good morning and welcome back to the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner. This segment brought to you by Ideas Tees. They'll be happy to help you fulfill all of your imprinted apparel, embroidery, and advertising specialty needs. Find out more at ideastees.com. Floyd Walker is with us this morning. Eagles flying high on a Thursday night. Made it back from McEwen, 42-28. I would ask you how the scenery was to McEwen. Did you see much scenery?
No, because of the time change. It's dark when you're traveling that way, so we didn't see much. But it's one of those deals we're kind of familiar with the Dixon area because when the playoffs start, we normally head west and we stop in Dixon. So that was a little bit of a familiar trip for us.
Well, you head west. You're going to head further west. We're going to talk about that later. But playoffs are different. I've gotten 5 texts from people this morning already that have asked, why is so-and-so already playing so-and-so? This is only the second round of the playoffs. And a lot of people don't realize that there were changes in the way the brackets
were put together. TSSAA decided to change it up, go to a format where they say that it benefits winning or puts a premium on winning, and it does, and it gives you an opportunity to see a little bit more of different opponents across the state. Some people will like it, some people won't like it. It just involves a lot of travel when you're not a 1 seed. If you're a 2 or 3 or 4, you could see a lot of the state of Tennessee.
If you are a 3 or a 4, it's going to be hard to even get a home game.
Oh yeah. Unless some upset takes place.
Right.
Some upset takes place. That's an opportunity for you to see it. I mean, to host a home game, but. We were hoping that happened, but it didn't. So we'll load up and we'll head to Memphis.
Well, let's talk much more about what happened with McEwen here first. First of all, you had another thing to battle this week, and that was the weather. And what was it, week 3? I think we had some weather delays. But thankfully, usually when they happen, it's several weeks of weather delays. Right. We only had it once in the regular season. But Friday night, last night, it was forecast very well what was going to happen, almost down to the hour that it was going to start, and it was going to cause problems for high school football. So a decision was made. You have nothing to do with that decision being the road team, though, do you?
No. It's just one of those deals to where, well, in a roundabout way you do, because both teams have to mutually agree to do.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's what ends up happening. And Coach Andrews over at McEwen and I, we spoke on Tuesday, and we talked about the projected forecast, and we both agreed to try to move the ball game. He got with TSSAA, the officials, his administration. I got with our people, and it worked out, and thankfully it did for us.
Well, I know that there are some county teams that tried to do that, but the host team was not mutually agreeable to move. And so that's part of the reason why we were on the road last night as well with Riverdale. But a lot of people have to make a decision, and it affects a lot of people that sometimes you don't think about whenever you move a game.
Oh, hey, when you start moving, you start looking at everything from, if you're traveling, you have to start looking at everything from can the officials make it? Can you get transportation? Can you adjust your pregame and postgame meals? If you do anything for kids, like we feed our kids the night before, we call it carb night. Can you get carb night moved to another night? And it's just a lot of logistics that go into a Friday night ball game, especially when you have to change it.
Yeah, and the people to work and all of that. I hear the argument about people saying, well, it's rain. Football, you play in the rain. It's not the rain that's the problem. It's the lightning.
It's the lightning. It's the safety. It's a safety issue.
Right.
It's a safety issue. And the thing about it is that when you get to this point in the season, what you want, if you are a coach or if you are a player, is you want the best conditions to give your team an opportunity to be successful. You don't want if you are somebody who's going to throw the ball, 20 to 30 times. You don't want to play in a downpour. If you're playing a shotgun snap, you don't want your center to have to handle a wet ball. It's just all those factors kind of go into it. So you want it to be an ideal situation.
What's your strategy for that?
You also have to think about from the aspect of long lightning delays.
Right.
And, of course, when this happened in week 3, there were some games that had to come back and finish up on Saturday. And so you don't want that kind of a situation, especially since we're making some very big road trips now.
Yeah. You don't want anything like that because, again, you get into a lot of different moving parts of it, and getting those parts worked out where people have already had other things scheduled will kind of throw a loop and a wrench into everything too. So,
the PSSAA wants to know who's playing the next week too. They want it done.
Yeah, because they got to schedule officials for those locations. So it's one of those deals. The earlier you can make a decision, the better off you are. But when it comes to all these other type of stuff, I mean, you can't do anything about Mother Nature. But you can watch forecast and you can try to get ahead of it.
Well, I know that's such an extra thing to think about. I mean, it's not just load up on the bus, get off the bus, and go play, especially if you're the host team. But I'm not so sure that our playoffs are set up to really be advantageous for the host team, other than you get to have the game at your place because of the way things are kind of divvied out and all that. But you make more money going on the road.
Well,
it costs you more.
I mean, the way the traveling is now, I don't know if you're gonna make enough for your expenses, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we can sit here and we can philosophize everything all we want to do.
I do that with you for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I mean, at the end of the day, the thing is, your kids have an opportunity to chase a championship, and whatever you have to do, whatever you have to provide, that's the end goal. You want to put these kids in the best opportunity to where they can have an opportunity to be successful.
Well, you had that opportunity to go to McEwen, and you get out in front early, and that's huge on the road to do that.
It was. I mean, field position played a huge part of it in the first quarter. We stopped them several times on fourth down. We were able to change field position. We were able to execute, put points on the board, start to build that momentum, and it carried through for the entire 4 quarters of that ball game.
SRM Concrete solid performer this morning. Benton Fox, 7 of 9, 90 yards, had a touchdown, rushed for another. When he's clicking, Jordan's clicking. It's tough to stop.
It is when we can get the ball in different people's hands and spread people out. It gives us better opportunity to put points on the board. I thought Benton really did a good job offensively of just handling what we wanted him to get done. But, I mean, we go back and we look at the defensive side of it. His name's not on that sheet because we just went and really redid his stats again. Was a young man named Casey Moore who just been off the radar all season long, had to fill in for Aiden Vestal, who was homesick. And that kid ends up with 11 tackles, I think 6 tackles for loss, caused a fumble, had 2 sacks, just had a phenomenal night. And, I mean, he was just bouncing up and down the hallways yesterday. So when you see a kid have a night like that and is able to just really be proud of the work that he's put in and the patience that he's had. So you're really excited for him, and I think our whole ball club was.
Well, I was going to mention him because I had not seen his name a lot, and sometimes you have to bide your time. I mean, all those things that you coach, next man up.
Right.
This is truly a next man up situation.
Oh, it was, and you watch Casey every day. He comes to practice. He comes to the weight room. He busts his rear end. He's got a smile on his face, and that's just proof that, hey, if you'll just always be prepared. If you always are prepared, when your opportunity comes, you take full advantage of it, and he did a phenomenal job of that.
Defensively, what did you see from McEwen going in, what was kind of the game plan to stop them? Because they scored 28 points, but they didn't score a lot until maybe later in the
You
game.
have to stop the run. They're big, they're physical. Coach Andrews does a phenomenal job of having his offensive linemen come off the ball. They know their scheme extremely well. The backs run behind their pads. They break tackles. They're not easy to get on the ground, and we knew it was going to be a challenge for us. Every time we go into a ball game, we're probably a little bit undersized from a line standpoint, but we just knew we just had to make sure we took care of our gaps. People rallied to the football.
I was listening to a broadcast since there were a lot of games on Thursday, and I didn't have one, and the broadcast crew, they did a lot of belly aching about a lot of things, but one was, our kids are so much smaller, and the other team was making football plays, and they thought, well, they said something like, our kids are so much smaller, these are bullies, blah blah blah. But when you're the smaller team, and that opponent was the smaller team, you can't make up size but so much. How do you do that when you take on a team that's much bigger?
You just have to do your job. If you have a gap, you try to protect that gap as best you can. And if you'll just try to do what you're supposed to do and you give effort, you got an opportunity.
You can overcome the size differential.
Yeah. And a lot of it is just technique, fundamentals, and alignment and assignment. And if you can do those things and not try to do too much, just do your job to the very best of your ability, and just be who you are.
You've also got to trust that man beside you.
You do. And that's one of those situations where you have to understand what you do affects the other 10 people in that particular phase of football. So if I'm a defensive lineman and I'm responsible for an A gap, then I've got this A gap. And if I'm a linebacker and I'm a B gap player, then I've got the B gap, because if I don't take the B gap and the ball hits, then I just let down 10 other people.
We're talking with Floyd Walker this morning, the Eagleville football head coach. Let me mention a few more players. A fumble recovery for a touchdown for Cooper Grant in the game.
Grant Cooper.
Grant Cooper. Yep. It was like 2 a.m. this morning when I finally could go to sleep thinking about. But anyway, Grant Cooper.
Delay for you, right?
Boy, I'm telling you. And TV, gosh. I could have wrung that guy's neck when he walked out there the last time. But anyway, so you had a great defensive game. Jonathan was Jonathan.
He was. He's been solid and consistent for us all year. Him and Thomas Solomon both.
Yeah.
So we're extremely happy and fortunate that we have him on our ball club.
And had some things like a fumble recovery. I think Jordan had a block kick.
He blocked the extra point on the conversion like that. Yeah.
So when you have things like that, I mean, you continue to build on that. Obviously, the win 42-28. You play on a Thursday. That's a short week. Then you have a longer week, but you had no idea who your opponent was going to be until last night.
Until last night. About, I don't know, you try to track scores and find scores, and then you finally found it, and it was 30 to nothing at the half. So you kind of knew somewhere around the 8:30 who you were going to have and where you were going to end up going, and you start spreading the word on that, and then you start getting in the film late last night or early this morning, and you start trying to break that down and start trying to formulate a plan, and then you start thinking about travel logistics. I mean, buses, where you going to eat at on the road, or are you going to do a walkthrough, and all those things, and I'll spend some more time on that today.
Yeah. So you've already done the laundry, maybe. Did you do that yesterday? Or
well, we played on Thursday. We got that done. We got that done Thursday night and Friday, okay? So, yeah, that's done.
So, well, that helps you. That gives you a little leg up on getting some other things done.
Right,
you're going to watch a lot of film, I'm sure. The next opponent is Memphis Middle College, and that's weird to even say in your high school team playing Memphis Middle College. I've never heard of this team before, but they're pretty good.
Yeah, I've never heard of them until playoffs rolled around. You start looking at the projected matchups and everything. So, but we'll do our deep dive into it, and we'll see how we stack up. We'll see what they do, how we need to attack them, and I'm sure our kids will be excited about playing.
Well, for those of you who wonder where Memphis Middle College is, just think Memphis Middle it's in the middle of Memphis. At least the school is. We still don't know where they play necessarily.
Right. Yeah, I got to work on that too. So, a lot of stuff got to go on between next Friday.
A lot of times, especially in Memphis, they have kind of like city facilities or something where they go and play in these county schools and things like that. Not every school has, and most schools actually in that area don't have a football stadium on their campus, so they kind of play at different places. So I'm sure you'll get all that information out to everybody.
Yeah, we will. We'll get it out to everybody, and as soon as we find out about it, and we'll get back to work on Monday on it.
And I'm hoping a lot of folks will head out and support the Eagles.
Well, they always do. So I mean, I'm not overly concerned about our community supporting these kids. They've always done a phenomenal job throughout the years. Whether we've been to McKenzie, Dresden, Decatur, Riverside, we've traveled to different places west, and our community's always done a super job of representing Eagles.
Well, I'm hoping that it's Dresden or Fayetteville that you get to play the next week after that. So
either way it goes, we'll probably be on the road again.
Looking like it.
I would prefer Fayetteville because it's a little bit closer.
And no one has ever thought anyone would say I prefer Fayetteville, but yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's not a must-travel to destination.
No, it's not on the top 10 list from Forbes or anything like that. But good talking to you this morning, Floyd. Congrats on the win. One final thing, Eagleville being one of the final 16, that's a huge accomplishment for anybody. Won a playoff game, on to the second round, and hope this thing keeps going.
Well, we appreciate you, Brian. We appreciate everything y'all do for us and for high school athletics around Rutherford County.
All right, that's Floyd Walker here on the Coaches Show, brought to you by State Farm agents Andy Womack, Dana Womack, Celeste Middleton, Alex Williams, Ron Reeves, and Emerson Williams. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Here's Dave Gober with First Mortgage, a department of First National Bank of Middle Tennessee.
Just like under the Friday Night Lights, winning takes teamwork. And when it comes to buying a home, I'm here to be on your team. From first downs to first homes, I'll help you move the ball forward and the loan options that fit your life. At First Mortgage, you're more than just a loan, you're family. So let's take the field together and open the door to your future home. Call me today, Dave Gober.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NLMS 401715.
Genesee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Here's Dr. Russell McKissick with TOA.
We have a passion here for taking care of our athletes here in Rutherford County. We really do our best to take care of them.
Experts in joint, bones, and muscles.
Many years we've been taking care of athletes around here, and we've just picked up where Dr. John started, and we just keep going.
TOA has a playbook that gets you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. TOA, live your best life.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
It's time to talk about Middle Tennessee Christian School sports. It's MTCS Cougar Corner, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. Each week we sit down with the coaches to recap the latest games and preview what's ahead. It's time to talk about the orange and white on MTCS Cougar Corner, right here on WGNS and Big G TV. Stay tuned, the show is coming up right after this message from our sponsors.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
People love to see us on the schedule when they have a home game because our fans show up.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
The way we travel is just phenomenal. Our parents and our community are fully engaged in our school. When we compete, we're trying to do it in a way that honors God. We want to win. We also want to do it in a way that pleases Him.
Providing Christian values and academic excellence in a nurturing environment. That's Middle Tennessee Christian School. Invest in the future of your child. Find out more at mtcscougars.org.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance are the leading experts in sports medicine and performance, and the team physicians for NFL, college, and high school athletes across Tennessee. TOA offers same-day appointments, walk-ins, and urgent care for acute orthopedic injuries that can't wait. TOA is proud to support Rutherford County high school athletes. Having a specialized care team you trust can make all the difference in your athletic journey. To find a TOA location near you, visit TOA.com.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
We're going to be an educational institution that teach Bible every day. Every subject we teach, we're going to teach through a biblical perspective. In every aspect of our school, we're going to do it through a Christian perspective.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
That also means that everything we do, we have to be excellent. We feel like Christ calls us to excellence. And so that means we have to be excellent academically. That means we have to be excellent athletically, because that's what God calls us to. It's a great place to be.
Invest in your child's future in an environment that fosters Christ-centered values. To find out more, visit mtcscougars.org.
We're back for MTCS Cougar Corner, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance and fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
Welcome into MTCS Cougar Corner here on a Saturday morning. A little foggy this morning as things got started after a rainy football Friday night. And Christian Peterson is here, one of the teams that got to endure the fun weather. Coach, good morning. Congrats on the win, by the way, first of all.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
62-14 over Chattanooga Grace. What time did you all finally get started last night?
Kickoff was at 8:25. Okay. Not terrible. Better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, so we were with Riverdale at Lebanon and kicked off at 8:07. And you were probably at home, getting on dry clothes by the time we finished. Got home at midnight.
Yeah, we were wrapped up and done by 10.
Yeah.
So
played in an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was quick. It was a quick one. But I thought at this point of the year though, you get into the playoffs, and I don't care what the weather is. I don't care any of the other stuff. Like, you do all that work during the regular season to earn yourself a home playoff game, and the playoffs it's a whole new season. Everybody's 0-0, and the opportunity to go out and win a game and create that positive momentum going into round two. And I thought our kids handled the delay well. You're always worried. You get a bunch of high school kids, and we lined up to kick off at 7. Like, we had done the coin toss, so we were lined up ready to go. And lightning struck. And so, you go through warm-ups, you line up, you're ready to play, and then you got to go back inside and wait for an hour and a half. And, our kids' energy level was great. Came out ready to go, and, it's easy to look ahead for an opponent that you beat earlier in the year. And, I think our kids understood that, don't waste a week. Make sure you're preparing to try and make a run at this thing.
And a team that you handled easily earlier in the year. What kinds of things when that's the opponent and your kids know they've already played them, they're probably not going to be able to play up to your level. You can't also play down to their level too. So there's a happy medium there. But how do you coach your kids up when they kind of know the opponent?
We just gotta do the best that we can do. Right, we got to go out and prepare, and we've got to go play to our standard. And again, we talked about it, like, we know who the opponent is, right? Don't sit here and come in and walk through. Like, go out. It's a playoff game. Go out and get yourself prepared. We've missed a lot of weeks this year, and so for us, it's really kind of a blessing we get to play. And so we got to 9 games now. Now our seniors have earned a 10th game. And, just an opportunity to go out and play and, make sure that we're preparing ourselves not only for this week, but for next week. And then, show up on Monday and start trying to prepare for a really good Trinity team.
I never really thought about it from that perspective, although you had, 8-game regular season. Most teams have 10. And so you're going to play your 10th coming up this next week in the second round of the playoffs. But I'm sure the guys just there's been some adversity surrounding that and not getting to play, and obviously, if you're a kid and you're playing football, you want to play. So there was some disappointment around that. So does that make your team a little more hungry here in this playoff run, maybe?
I think so. I mean, I think I think our kids have handled it well. Right? We got thrown a curveball there over summer. At different points, I had both weeks filled, and then they both weren't filled again. And then, it's just kind of been one of those years where, we've faced adversity all year. But I think our kids have done a really good job of handling that adversity, handling, that we can only control what we can control. And, it doesn't matter who we're playing, doesn't matter when we're playing, doesn't matter if we have another bye week, whatever. Like, we've got to go out and we've got to make sure that we improve throughout that week. And whether you're getting ready for a game that Friday or you're getting ready for a game the next Friday. And, I think part of it's helped us, I think, because, we can become adaptable. We can kind of roll with whatever gets thrown our way. You kind of get into a season and everyone kind of gets into a routine. And so, when the routine gets thrown off, like, what happens? Well, our routine hasn't been routine all year. And so, whether we kick off at 7 or 7:30 or 8:25 or, whether we're on a bus for 4 or 5 hours or we're getting to play
Trust
at home,
your
like,
instincts.
we've done
What's
it all.
your next move
and
against
so,
those fierce waves?
a testament to our kids of being able to handle that adversity and make sure that they're ready to go when kickoff happens.
Well, Christian, since we've got Rutherford County teams playing at Dobbins-Bennett, at Maryville, at Memphis Middle College on the other end, you going to Jackson. There have been some questions this morning about, well, how did you do it? Because they know you've been on the road so much and putting together logistically. There's an art to it, and there's obviously someone who puts in a lot of time to make that happen. But you all have a lot of experience in that.
No, for sure. And for us, it's Ed Watson. I call him our DFO all the time. He does a really good job of getting that schedule kind of built out and, making sure we're where we need to be when we need to be there. And we've got Cracker Barrels all over the state that we like to go to that we know that they'll be able to accommodate us and get us our food and, make sure the kids are fed and everything else. And, he does a great job. Like, we have our charter bus locked in, we're ready to go. And it's nice having someone on staff that is so good at that scheduling piece, because it's really something that a lot of people don't think about, and all of the moving parts and all of the different pieces that have to fit together perfectly every time you get on the road for a long time. And he does a great job. I tell him all the time he's got the best job security of anybody. They could fire me tomorrow and the next guy's going to keep Ed, because there's just so much that he does that I don't even know if people really realize the amount of work he puts into MTCS and how beneficial he is to our program.
It is so hard to give him credit like that, but you're right. I'm just kidding. He's been so great over the years, and maybe he missed his calling as a travel agent.
Yeah, well, he does move people for a living. Well, he does understand all that logistical side, the whole logistical side of things, and
served him well.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a huge benefit for us, that's for sure.
So, everybody wants a quick start with all those things that went on in the game and getting the game started and doing the coin toss and everything, and then all of a sudden, you're banged for a minute. Come back, you have, I guess, a mandatory little warm-up time, right? Before
10 minutes. So if it's over 30-minute delay, like if you get popped once and you come back in 30 minutes, you can have a 5-minute one. Anything over 30 minutes, you got to go for 10 minutes. So we had a 10-minute warm-up, and then we finally got to kick off and get started.
And didn't look back. Scored with 8 minutes and 40 seconds left in the first. 7:03. 4:21, 2:40, and then 55 seconds left in the first, and you were up 35-0. Great start.
Yeah, for sure. Get a kickoff. Defense does a great job. Getting them off the field, get our offense on the field, and then Riley Brown takes the first play for a touchdown. Defense gets the other stop. We're able to come out and score on the first play on the second drive. And then we're able to kind of get rolling there. Marlowe hits the I think it was 40-yard pass for a touchdown on the second drive. And it was, again, I think the thing I'm excited about is, number one, we started fast, we executed well.
Mm-hmm.
You get into games and you're better, but how you execute matters. And I thought we executed at a high level. And then as the game kind of went on, we had, I think, 8 different people score a touchdown. And so it was cool on the sidelines to watch our kids celebrate others' success, right? We talk about it all the time. Like, it's about us. It's not about me. And so, when you're able to go through and see, your kids get excited, guys that normally don't get in the game a whole lot, they're getting in, and our bench is up and cheering for them and things like that. Like that's the exciting stuff. That's the fun stuff. That's what makes high school football so much fun. And, getting to see guys that, again, they might not get the 50 snaps on Friday night, every Friday night, but they got to go out and play and have fun and, play well. As we rotated guys through, I thought the guys that went in there continued to play at a high level. And, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think the future is very bright at MTCS, and I think we're definitely building in the right direction.
If you look at your rushing stats, it is crazy. I've never seen anything like this before. Riley Brown, 2 carries, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm reading all this correct. So,
yep.
Nichols, 1 carry, 62 yards, touchdown. Cooper Ewell, 1 carry, 60 yards, touchdown. Trey Ewell, 1 carry, 52 yards, touchdown. Kingston Glover, 5 carries, 56 yards. He had to work a little harder, but a touchdown. And I'm missing one more. Ali had 3 carries, 53 yards, and a touchdown. That's great production, I guess, right?
Yeah, for sure. It was fun. Again, I think, and every time they got in, like, we tell our guys, like, even as we get in a game like this, we start rotating. Like, I still expect you to play at a high level. Like, this is your opportunity. Go out, play at a high level. Go make something happen. And I think, again, it's fun to get all those people in the end zone. When your leading rusher ends up like 7th on the list of rushing yards, it was a pretty good night.
Yeah.
Both quarterbacks finished 1 of 2 for a touchdown. We got, Riley hadn't had an offensive touchdown yet this year. We were able to get him in the end zone. Trip Houston got his first receiving touchdown last night. We were able to get Cooper and Trey Ewell in the end zone. So we got Kingston, got 2 touchdowns. And so it was fun to see a lot of firsts happen. Those are all guys that are going to play a lot of football for us as we move forward. And so to see them be able to be rewarded for all the hard work they've done this year, it was fun to see.
To have this type of success, and we're talking about young kids here, on the high school level, to be able to do that, there's nothing, there's not a better tool to come to work and work hard every day than seeing what you were able to do last night, for instance.
For sure. And like we've talked about it, we're so close to turning that corner. And I've told the people this year that we're just good enough to make it weird with just about anybody, and we're just young enough that things can snowball on us a little bit. But I think we're really close to just being really good. And I'm definitely again excited about the future. You start going through that list, and Riley Brown returns, Marlowe returns, Cooper and Trey return, Kingston returns, Ali returns, Will returns, Cooper returns. I mean, there's not a guy who had a yard for us that we're going to lose. And so
that should be scary for anybody.
Right. And so, again, I think, it's fun to see. It's fun to see them go out and continue to get better and, continue to build on what they've done in practice. And, Riley Brown's a good example of he just continued to work, continue to get better. He just plays really hard. And so, excited for him to finally get in the end zone. He's had games with 100 yards and he's been tackled at the 1. Like, he's been so close all year to finally getting in. And so for him to get in the end zone a couple times and to see our kids, run and meet him on the sidelines and so excited because they know how close he's been to getting in there. And so, it's fun to watch that. Again, it's fun to watch the kids celebrate success of others. And so, I definitely think we're getting closer and closer. And so, hopefully that light switch comes on this week and we can go out and try and get a win this week.
You get a running clock early on. I guess they don't do that until the second half, though.
So ours started in the second quarter.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. So they went ahead and started in the second quarter. And I think with the delay and everything else and kind of how the game is going, both sides were like, we're not out there to try and embarrass anybody. Like we're trying to get out healthy. At that point the game's over. Like we don't want to lose anybody to injury. We started at 8:25. They're driving home to Chattanooga. So I think both sides were kind of like, let's get this thing rolling and let's get out of here.
That is a big key, not to get anybody hurt, and get out on a dry night. Defensively, I was just looking over some of the defensive stats. Fox, let's see, Knox Carton, a forced fumble, interception, 4 tackles. Defensively, you guys played well. Is it Hancock, I think, who had a fumble recovery and forced the fumble?
Yep.
So you did what you needed to do on defense to give your offense more opportunities too.
Yeah, absolutely. They flew around. They played physical. Really excited about how they played. There's a lot of read stuff, a lot of, they do a lot of things offensively. And so, again, I think our kids did a really good job of staying with their keys, understanding where they needed to go, and then, getting 11 hats to the football and making tackles.
Final score at halftime, it was 48-0. Final score 62-14. This says kickoff at 7 and end of game at 11 on your stats, but you ended about 11 o'clock?
It ended up being earlier than that. It was probably about 10, 15.
10:15. You said that earlier now that I think about it, but my brain's a little waterlogged or whatnot.
I get it.
After these late nights, which, boy, you have definitely been road warriors this year, and as we begin to take a look ahead at next week in Trinity, this should be just like another regular football Friday night for you guys.
Yeah, I think our regular season definitely prepared us for it. Right, it won't be anything weird. Every road game we've had to hop on a charter bus because we're going pretty far away. So this will just be another one of those. I think our kids are going to be excited to be able to eat at Cracker Barrel again. They always like, if we're going on the road, like they want it to be a couple hours so that we have to stop at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Right? They don't want the 30-minute road trip. They want to make sure that they're getting the full experience.
So what's on the menu at a Cracker Barrel for the kids?
So they do a great job. We'll call them ahead of time, and we'll order, we'll say 40 plates, and it'll be grilled chicken, some veggies, things like that. We had to put a limit on the rolls. The first one we went to, they would bring rolls out like candy, and so like we had kids just eating tons of rolls. And so now we've had to tell them like, hey, like let's limit it to 2 things of rolls. But no, it's been good. And again, I think I don't think it's going to be weird for our kids. There's some teams that are going to have to make this a long trip for the first time this year, and there's going to be a lot of unknowns. For us, honestly, like we've gone on 2 or 3 that are longer than this one. And so, we'll get on the bus and go and play and see what we can do.
You've made it here to the state's Final 8 in Division II Single A in the bottom half of the bracket with Trinity, who's your next opponent. On the other side is Nashville Christian and Jackson Christian. But, there's some familiar names. But my point about this is MTCS has built a tradition of being in the playoffs and making runs in the playoffs. Of course, a couple of years off of a state title as well. That's where you want a program to be.
Absolutely.
Expecting to be there.
And expecting to win. Yeah. I think one of those things we were talking about last night, it was kind of we hadn't thought about it, but, I've been here 5 years now in total as OC and as head coach, and we've won at least one playoff game every year since we've been here. And, there's a lot of programs that would trade spots with that in a heartbeat.
You're right.
State title or not, like, to be able to go into the postseason and know that you're going to be good enough to go and compete and try and win some games and you get into the postseason, you never know, right? Like, you're going to give yourself a shot. And at this point, it's a 1-game season. The only game that matters to us is MTCS versus Trinity. That's it. Nothing else matters. The rest of the bracket doesn't matter. Because we win this one, then we'll worry about the rest of the bracket. But I think we've you put yourself in a position to be one of the last 8 teams in your classification, right? We're doing something right, and obviously we want to keep winning and keep this thing going. And again, proud of our kids for their effort, proud of them for how they've handled this year, with a lot of question marks throughout the year. But again, they've put themselves in position to try and make a run of this thing.
Well, you're both 2 seeds, and so if it had been Franklin Christian that you played, you were a 2, they were a 4. Doesn't matter, East, Middle, West. But when there are 2 2s, that's when you go to the predetermined side of the bracket. It just so happens to be, if this had been played next year and this was the matchup, you would have gotten to host.
Right.
There's just really no other way to do that. So top half of the bracket, you have to go on the road. So 2 2s going together. This is where the rubber meets the road in a playoff run.
Absolutely. And I feel like it always kind of works out that way. Last time we were a 2 seed, that we went on down there, we went and played Jackson in the West. We were the 1 seed in 23. We had to go play at Columbia Academy in the semifinals. I know there's a way that we are home all the way through. I just ain't figured out which one it is yet. But
it hasn't reared its face here. Yeah, really.
But no, we again, where we play doesn't matter. You get into the postseason, I'll play in the parking lot at a Walmart. I don't care, right? Like the opportunity to go play and try and make a run is what you play for and what you coach for in high school sports. And I think our kids are going to be excited for the opportunity and excited to try and go out and win a football game.
Well, I know it'll be a fun night. MTCS contingent of fans and parents and all that will be there, and I hope to be talking with you next Saturday morning on the show about a big win and see who you're playing the next week.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Appreciate it. Christian Peterson, our guest this morning on MTCS Cougar Corner, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks so much for being with us today. We will have high school football on Friday night for you. Another coaches show next week with the return in-house of John Dinkins. So we're looking forward to that. And I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. Coming up a little later on this morning, afternoon, we've got middle football as they take on FIU at home for the Salute to Veterans game, and then some basketball tonight. You're listening to and have listened to part of 12 hours of local high school and MTSU sports. So I hope you enjoy that. Have a great weekend, and see you back here next Saturday morning for the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner and MTCS Cougar Corner.